Alright, football fans, hold on to your hats, because the NFL draft just delivered an absolute bombshell. A move so bold, so unprecedented in recent memory, that it sent shockwaves through the entire league. We are talking about the Jacksonville Jaguars, who just pulled off a massive trade, moving all the way up to the number 2 overall pick, and using it to select one of the most unique, electrifying, and perhaps riskiest prospects in years, Travis Hunter, the two-way superstar from Colorado. This wasn't just a small hop up the board. The Jaguars made a significant leap, trading with the Cleveland Browns to get into that coveted number 2 spot. And the cost was steep. The Jaguars sent the Browns their original number 5 overall pick, a second-round pick at number 36. In return, Jacksonville received the number 2 pick, a fourth-round pick at 104, and a sixth-round pick at 200 in this year's draft. Giving up a future first-rounder to move up 3 spots is a steep price, indicating just how much the Jaguars and their new leadership wanted Travis Hunter. The Cleveland Browns, on the other hand, walk away from this trade with the number 5 pick they acquired from Jacksonville. The Browns addressed a key need on their defensive line, selecting Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham, adding another formidable piece to a unit already anchored by the likes of Myles Garrett. A solid move for Cleveland, getting value and building for the future. But the real story here, the move that has everyone talking, is the Jaguars going all in for Travis Hunter. This is a monumental moment for the Jacksonville franchise, and a particularly bold statement from first-time general manager James Gladstone. Gladstone, who was hired this offseason, had said earlier in April that his first draft pick would set the tone for his entire tenure. Well, consider the tone set, trading up to number 2. Giving up future assets. This is anything but playing it safe. Gladstone wasted no time in explaining the magnitude of the pick, speaking on the team's draft show just moments after the selection was announced. And his words were powerful, perhaps even audacious. He didn't just talk about altering the trajectory of a team, he talked about altering the trajectory of the sport itself. Let that sink in. There are players that you can target and acquire who alter the trajectory of a game. Gladstone said, there are players that you can target and acquire that alter the trajectory of a football team. There are very few, and it's rare to be able to target and prioritize a player who can alter the sport itself. And Travis is somebody that we view has the potential to do that. Alter the sport itself. That is incredibly high praise. That's talking about players who are generational talents, who change how the game is played or how teams are built. Think about the impact of a player like Lawrence Taylor on defense. Or how quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady revolutionized offensive play calling and efficiency. Is Travis Hunter in that category? The Jaguars clearly believe he has that potential. Gladstone acknowledged that Hunter still has a lot to learn transitioning to the NFL, but emphasized viewing him through the lens of unique. He believes Hunter elevates the space around him just by being nothing more than who he is. For a franchise that hasn't achieved consistent success, struggling to make back-to-back playoff appearances since the late 1990s, this move signals a desperate, perhaps necessary, swing for the fences. And what about Travis Hunter himself? How does he feel about being seen as a potential sport changer? According to him, there's no pressure. He seemed unfazed by the lofty expectations, stating simply, I just had to go out there and do my job. Beat Travis Hunter. They did everything they could to come get me. Now, I've got to do everything I could to help win and help the organization. A remarkably grounded response for someone just picked second overall with such high praise heaped upon them. Hunter also shared that he spoke briefly with both the Jaguars' offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator shortly after being drafted, telling them, I was excited to hear both of them on the phone, so I know they believe in me, and they believe that I can do it. Referring to playing both ways in the NFL, the Jaguars' reported plan, according to Gladstone, is to start Hunter on offense at wide receiver and then work him in on defense at cornerback as he gets more comfortable and acclimates to the pro game. This seems like a smart, gradual approach to developing a player with such a unique workload. Because let's be clear, Travis Hunter is unique in the modern era of football. He's not just a corner who sometimes plays receiver, or a receiver who sometimes plays corner. In his final college season in 2024, he played an astonishing 1.481 snaps, That's nearly 300 more snaps than any other player in the entire FBS. He was a full-time, highly productive player on both sides of the ball. He wasn't just good, he was spectacular. He became the second full-time defensive player ever to win the prestigious Heisman Trophy and the fifth wide receiver to win the award. His stats were incredible: 15 touchdown catches on offense, tied for second most in the FBS, and 4 interceptions on defense, tied for third most in the Big 12. He's a playmaker, pure and simple, wherever you line him up. Hunter's journey also adds another layer to his story. He famously started his college career at the FCS level with Jackson State, following Coach Deion Sanders there, before transferring with Coach Prime to Colorado Browns. The trade discussions with the Jaguars had been going on for a couple of weeks, with the framework of the deal largely in place shortly after. Browns GM Andrew Berry felt it was a fantastic opportunity to gain significant assets, including that future first-round pick in a class they project to be stronger. He believes they still got a top-notch prospect in the trenches, with Mason Graham at number 5, while also adding picks in the sweet spot of this year's draft. It seems like a win-win trade on paper, a classic case of one team trading for the player they desperately want, and the other trading back for value and future assets. But the spotlight, and the pressure, will undeniably be on Travis Hunter and the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a high-stakes gamble. Giving up a future first-round pick is a massive risk. The challenge of playing two ways in the NFL is immense. The speed, complexity, and physical toll are on a completely different level than college. Can Hunter's body handle the workload? Can he develop the technical nuances required at two elite positions in the NFL? The Jaguars believe he can. Their general manager believes he has the potential to alter the sport. That's a burden of expectation few draft picks ever have to carry. How Travis Hunter adapts, develops, and performs in Jacksonville will be one of the most compelling storylines to follow in the NFL for years to come. It's a bold, potentially franchise-altering move, and only time will tell if James Gladstone's gamble pays off and if Travis Hunter truly can be the player who changes the game. Alright, draft night delivered some early fireworks, and one of the biggest booms came right at the top. The Jacksonville Jaguars made a massive move, trading up to acquire the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft. And with that second pick, the Jaguars selected one of the most unique and talked about players in this draft class, wide receiver and cornerback Travis Hunter from Colorado. This was a blockbuster deal with the Cleveland Browns, who held the number 2 pick, to move up just 3 spots. From 5 to 2, the Jaguars sent the Browns the 5th overall pick this year, plus a second-round pick at 36. A 4th-round pick at 126, and a future first-round pick in 2026. In return, the Jaguars got pick number 2, plus a 4th and a 6th-rounder this year. A hefty price, but one the Jaguars clearly felt was worth it. With the pick they got from the Jags at number 5, the Browns selected defensive tackle Mason Graham out of Michigan. For the Jaguars, this trade-up for Hunter was a bold statement from first-time general manager James Gladstone. He said earlier in the month that his first pick would set the tone. And boy, did it ever. After making the pick, Gladstone had incredible praise for Hunter, saying he believes Hunter can not only alter the trajectory of a game or a team, but potentially even alter the sport itself. That's Shohei Ohtani level comparison talk right there. Gladstone called Hunter unique, and someone who elevates the space around him just by being himself. Hunter, for his part, seemed unfazed by that high praise. He said he felt no pressure and just needs to go out there and be Travis Hunter and help the organization win. He was excited to hear from both the Jaguars' offensive and defensive coordinators right after being picked, saying he knows they believe he can play both ways. The Jaguars' plan initially is to start him on offense and work him in on defense as he gets comfortable. Trade discussions had reportedly been happening for a couple of weeks, with a framework in place before draft night. Both GMs sounded happy with the deal. Gladstone thrilled to get his guy, and Browns GM Andrew Berry happy to add a future first-rounder and another high pick this year while still getting a top prospect at 5. So, the Jaguars paid a premium to land Travis Hunter at number 2 overall. It's a testament to how highly they value his unique two-way talent and their belief that he can be a transformational player for their franchise. He's one of the most fascinating players to watch heading into the NFL. And now he's a Jacksonville Jaguar.